In the bizarre and chaotic world of Skibidi Toilet, one porcelain powerhouse reigns supreme: the G-Man Skibidi Toilet. With his unmatched strength and devastating laser eyes, he stands as the most formidable force in this weird universe. But the true origins of this monstrous merged menace have remained shrouded in mystery. Until now. Brace yourself for a chilling tale of ambition, obsession, and the darkest depths of unchecked power. For you see, the G-Man Toilet was once a mere mortal man, and his twisted transformation may hold a dire warning for all of us. Long before his unholy fusion, the entity we now know as the G-Man Toilet existed as a mysterious human figure, glimpsed only for a second in the early episodes of the Skibidi Saga. A man with no name, no clear allegiances, no apparent purpose. He lurked in the shadows of episodes 1, 4, 6, and 8. A cipher whose motives were completely unknown. But perhaps we should have seen the warning signs, for throughout history, it is often the quiet ones, the watchers from the fringes, who harbor the most dangerous ambitions. Consider the likes of Stalin or Mao, unassuming figures who clawed their way to the pinnacles of power, their hands forever stained with the blood of millions. The human G-Man too had a darkness lurking behind his boring facade. As he observed the chaos and conflict of the Skibidi universe, a seed took root in his heart. A gnawing hunger for control, for domination, for the ultimate power to reshape reality itself. And so, like so many tyrants before him, he began to plot and scheme to lay the groundwork for his ascension to power. He would allow no one and nothing to stand in his way. All the while, he continued to appear in the background, a shadowy specter pulling strings and manipulating events. But then, as suddenly as he arrived, the human G-Man vanished. Some whispered that he had been killed, or worse. Little did they suspect the horrifying truth: that he had embarked on a dark pilgrimage, a quest to merge with an ancient mystical power and become something terrifyingly inhuman. The sages and philosophers have long warned us of the insidious allure of power. It is a siren song that has shipwrecked the souls of even the most principled men and women, luring them onto the rocks of ruin with its promise of control, respect, and unquestioned authority. From the tales of old to the corporate raiders of today, the desire for dominion over others is a poison that blackens the heart and warps the mind. For the human G-Man, this toxic obsession consumed him utterly. No longer content to shape events from the shadows, he craved the power of a god, the ability to bend the very fabric of the Skibidi universe to his will. He hungered to transcend the feeble limitations of the flesh and become something greater, something invincible. Perhaps it was fate, perhaps blind chance, that led him to the whispers of an ancient, legendary artifact, a toilet of unimaginable power, said to grant immortality and nigh omnipotence to any being who could unite with it. Many had sought this mystic marvel, but all had failed or driven mad by its ancient energy. But the human G-Man was undeterred. Consumed by visions of the glory and godhood that awaited him, he set out on a grim quest to find his ultimate power. Through forgotten lands and forsaken dimensions he searched, driven ever onwards by his dark desires. At last, in a shrine as old as time itself, he found it. The toilet shimmered with an otherworldly light, thrumming with the promise of unlimited power. As he held it, the human G-Man felt no fear, no hesitation, only a perverted, overwhelming sense of destiny. With a roar of triumph, he cast aside his last bounds of humanity and plunged headlong into the abyss, ready to pay any price for his prize. In a blinding flash of ancient energy, the human G-Man and forces of the cosmos merged into one unholy being. Two became one in a union that defied the very laws of nature and sanity. The man's flesh bubbled and contorted as it bonded with the porcelain, his agonized screams echoing through the dimensions. Some say the toilet had always hungered for a host, a vessel through which it could wreak its malevolent will upon the universe. Others whisper it was a creation of the old ones, a paradox-born perversion of reality designed to spread chaos and suffering. None could say for certain, but in that moment, it found its perfect partner. As the last echoes of G-Man's human cries faded, the fusion was complete. where once had stood a power-mad mortal in a shimmering toilet, now loomed a monstrous hybrid. The G-Man Skibidi Toilet had been born. His mind was a swirling storm of ancient knowledge, cosmic power, and all-consuming ambition to destroy and conquer. With this dark covenant, the G-Man had gained the power he craved. But at what cost? In merging with the evil toilet, had he sacrificed his last shreds of humanity? Had he damned himself to an eternal unlife of horror and madness? Or perhaps, as the philosophers might argue, he had never been truly human at all. Perhaps this fusion simply revealed the monster that had always lurked within him, waiting for its chance to emerge. Whatever the case, one thing was certain. The Skibidi universe would soon tremble before the might of this porcelain abomination. For the G-Man Skibidi Toilet now possessed power beyond imagining, and a black hunger for destruction that would never be satiated. Like a nightmarish butterfly emerging from its chrysalis, the newly forged G-Man Skibidi Toilet burst forth from the ancient energies of its creation, raw power crackling through every atom of its being. Its laser eyes flashed with barely contained force, ready to annihilate anyone foolish enough to stand in its path. With a roar that shook the foundations of reality itself, the merged monstrosity unleashed the first terrible display of its newfound abilities. Searing beams of pure destruction lanced out from its eyes, vaporizing all in its path. Entire city blocks, armies, even mountains were reduced to ash in mere moments. Both allies and enemies trembled before this display of overwhelming force. It was clear that no one, no thing could stand against the G-Man Toilet now. But even as they quaked in terror, a chilling question formed in their minds. What did this all-powerful abomination want? World domination? The enslavement of all life? The eradication of its foes? Perhaps, in the end, even the G-Man Toilet itself did not fully comprehend the depths of its dark desires. The only certainty was that it would not rest until all of existence bent to its will. And yet, one cannot help wonder, is there any humanity left within this porcelain-fused creature? Does a tiny spark of the original G-Man still flicker deep within, buried beneath the layers of power and insanity? Or is it truly the toilet that reigns supreme, its demonic will and malevolent mind now ascendant? Has the fusion forever eradicated any trace of human frailty or mercy? These are the questions that haunt the minds of all who witness the G-Man Toilet's terrifying rise. For now, this monstrous entity is loose upon the universe, and none can say what horrors it may unleash. The only certainty is that the legend of the G-Man Skibidi Toilet has only just begun, and that the cosmos will tremble at its terrible touch for eons to come. And so, dear viewer, you now know the chilling truth behind the G-Man Skibidi Toilet's origin. A humble human, consumed by his lust for ultimate power, cast aside his very humanity to merge with an artifact of unimaginable might. In doing so, he became something more and something immeasurably less. It's a tale as old as time, a warning for the corrupting nature of unchecked ambition and the perils of seeking power at any cost. For in the end, the G-Man Toilet stands as a twisted testament to the depths of depravity that the pursuit of personal glory can lead. But this tragic tale is far from over. The true extent of the G-Man Toilet's power remains to be unseen. The full depths of his malice yet to be plumbed. One shudders to imagine the atrocities this monster could unleash on our world.